15 minutes to kick off. We got the Oakleigh versus NPLMVIC. Starting up, we have this group of our Brody Boyce, number 4. Nicholas Feely, number 1. Number 10, Joe Bess, and the captain as well. Harrison, number 19, Oakleigh, number 8, Cameron McVick, number 9, Alex Sullivan, number 14, Kingsley Sinclair, number 22, Stephen Valentine, number 23, Edwin Westmore. Simmons team when gave 22 ahead, Trinity and Red West. Number 23 was number 10, number 23 is Will Bower, number 2, Stephen Rickett, number 13, Robin Mustard, number 18, Thomas Oakleigh, number 1, Walton Bones, number John Hall, 17, Danny King, number 25, Jordan Rodriguez, number 38, Jackson Henry, also we have Luke Saunders, number 5, Jack Webster, Patrick, 19, James Kismas as well. We've got to give it over to Jack in his reserve, Manchester Division 3. Take the seat, the right side. 10 minutes to kick off.
Welcome to King's Birthday Football in the NPL Men's Victoria competition. After these two sides have had quite a good run of games, we have a tantalising clash here at Jack Edwards Reserve, with Dandenong City looking to get within 3 points of finals. And we'll just be back with you in a few moments for a moment of silence for FV President Antonella Kerr's mother, who passed away recently. We'll take you through the two starting lineups for this afternoon's clash. Of course, the Oakleigh Cannons have got quite the congested fixture list upcoming, with this game starting what will be 3 games in just 8 days, with the cup match against Avondale to follow next week. We'll take you through the home side first. Number 1, Nick Thiele. Number 3, Connor Hampson. Number 4, Brody Boyce. Number 8, Cameron McGill. Number 9, Alex Salmon. Number 10, Joe Guest. Number 11, Munib Adist. Number 14, Kingsley Sinclair. Number 19, Oliver Kubalay. Number 22, Stephen Valentini. Number 23, Emlyn Wellsmore. Of course, Jacob Eliopoulos out, not due to injury. He's on his honeymoon for the next month or so. So Oakleigh will be without their centre-back. He's had a really rejuvenated season after a couple of years out with some pretty big injuries. As for Dandenong City, of course, a very good few weeks. A 2-0 win last time out against St Albans Saints, and that kicks off a 2-game winning streak after going 3 losses in a row in prior weeks. And we'll take you through that lineup. Number 1, John Hall. Number 5, Jack Webster. Stefan Bresovic, James Zidius, Jackson Lino, Thomas Giannakopoulos, George Nalbadaridis, Danny Kim, Vali Sesnick, Will Bauer, and Timothy Atharinos. I'm your commentator for today, Neil Simons, joined by Arthur Akratides. It's King's Birthday Football. It's a great ground here at Jack Edwards Reserve. I'm buzzing. I'm sure you are as well.
Absolutely beautiful day for football here today. And the home side has a tough little task on its hands here, playing against rejuvenated Dandenong City, who have slowly gotten back to their early season form. And Coach Tolios has got these players well drilled, and they're trying to open up early here because they know that the Oakleigh Cannons here at home are very, very hard to beat. In fact, they've been playing some scintillating football of late. And ball played wide. Deep ball into the box, headed away to safety. Neil, I think today seems to be one of those games that could turn out to be one hell of a tussle.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, looking at Dandenong City's fixture list, they've had quite a few unfortunate moments in recent weeks. I definitely point to that 1-0 loss at home to Avondale 3 weeks ago. But since then, it's really been all smooth sailing. 2 wins on the bounce against 2 sides that are obviously lower than them in the table, but that's what they need to do to assert themselves as potential finals candidates. Of course, with Port Melbourne dropping points against Hume City on Saturday, this ensures that with a win today, they could be within just 3 points of 6th place, which on the balance of play this season is a really, really good moment of output for them. So we'll see as to how they can approach things. As for Oakleigh, I think it's for them, it's all business as usual. They have, unlike their fellow opposition within the competition, haven't really been faced with too many injuries and the likes. Doesn't exactly bode well for Eliopoulos being out on a honeymoon, but hey, he's got to enjoy it himself, and I'm sure he'll come back very rejuvenated at the back end of the campaign. But this is a really enticing clash. Two Southeast teams going to work, and you can really see the Dandenong City fans coming out for this one. It's a great vibe. King's birthday football. Although half the ground is not in use, I do feel as if this ground has a great atmosphere. As John Hall, a terrible mistake, and might see salmon, and he lays it off to Joe Guest, who looks to roll it forwards. But that is incredible miscalculation from the Oakleigh Cannons. How did they miss that?
Baffles me that. Hall really was at 6s and 7s there, losing that ball, and maybe should have been hit straight away. And in the end, the shot was really not really menacing at all. And a chance now for Xidas to get the ball, loses out. Ball held up there by McGlip, and he'll get the free kick. He's had a pretty good season, has McGlip. Deep ball, far side of the ground. Guest swivels onto his left. No, he doesn't. He tries his right foot, headed away, and the shot over the bar, not really troubling the goalkeeper. A healthy crowd here, and yes, as Neil said, we've got one side of the ground barricaded off because the Oakleigh Cannons have a $14 million project going ahead there, which possibly by this time next year will be ready to go, and that'll be absolutely amazing for the club and no doubt for the community here.
Yes, I mean, to have a double-sided grandstand in the NPL Victoria will be such an amazing thing to witness, and really benefits, I think, this Oakleigh community, who will get around their club even more so. It will definitely be one of the premier boutique venues in Victoria. See Kubalay on this far side. Drifting wider, seeing about now Stefan Valentini. Going to drive forwards, twisting, weaving, turning. Past Bresovic, it's Salmon with the strike. And Lino's able to pick up the pace. Of course, the fullback from Dandenong City, arriving across from the Melbourne Victory Academy a few years ago, has had quite a good campaign. It's Salmon back to goal. Kim bats it clear. Here's Atharinos, another ex-Melbourne Victory Academy player, but of course did break through at Nunawading City. Got on the score sheet last week. See Lino striding through on that far side. He's been brought to ground by Stefan Valentini. Of course, Dandenong City, last time they faced off against the Oakleigh Cannons, the first time which they faced off against each other in league fixtures in about 2 years. Earlier this year in February-March period, it was a 1-1 draw at Frank Holohan Soccer Complex with a goal from Will Bauer in the 7th minute, with Alex Salmon leveling things up in the 21st. So both sides really unable to generate many chances on that occasion at Frank Holohan. But I think this afternoon it will be very, very different. You can see the tempo rising high as we see Kubalay play down towards Valentini. Overlapping is Emmeline Wellsmore. Valentini stills with Guest towards Valentini. Now Sinclair, the Kiwi, towards Munib. All mixed into the mixer, and Vali Cessna gets it clear, and Oakleigh are awarded the free kick.
And Salmon back in the lineup this week too, Neil, after being out with cards last week. And that man over the ball is Guest, who we've seen score some absolute scorches from this kind of area. But this time I think he'll go for the deep ball into the box. The free header. And that was a chance there by Salmon. The flag went up for offside though. It wouldn't have counted. And as you could see here, the build-up of a crowd is a healthy crowd here. upwards of over 1,000 people at least. It's nice on a day like today, the King's birthday. Got to get used to saying that. Ball by Hall, deep one, headed away. Chance now for a clearance, but an up and under shot there. Adus trying to bring the ball down. Held up there was Kublai. Adus with the ball. He's been a good addition here for the Cannons this season. Chip ball and out for a goal kick. And Coach Tolios has really done well with his side. No doubt promoting him to the NPL Premier Division after winning the league last year at NPL 2. Congratulations to him for that. He had a bit of success also with his team when he was coaching Bentley Greens, and earlier than that was the Kingston City team. So now he's in charge of his side here at Jack Edwards Reserve. And so far we've been playing just on 10 or so minutes, and it's still 0-0.
Of course, Oakleigh also back with Connor Hampson, who's obviously in recent weeks actually went back to England to, I believe, go to a wedding for a family member, if I'm not mistaken. So important that they have the 1-2 punch, the British 1-2 punch in Joe Guest and Connor Hampson back, as Wellsmore going toe-to-toe with Will Bauer. First time ball from Valentini. Guest looking back, and Oakleigh will contain themselves within possession. It looks like Lambadarides is pressing up extremely high. It's been used to him playing a bit deeper in recent seasons, but had a great run of goal scoring form. A great ball from Guest, could unleash Munib Adis on the left. Adis flicked into the middle, and John Hall will claim. Been one of the better goalkeepers in this division for sure, if you were to assess him on the basis of what he's done in his career. Very underrated in terms of his attributes, especially his reaction speed, more so. The former Adelaide United keeper, arriving across from Croydon Kings. It's Wellsmore. Oh, poor giveaway nearly. Brodie Boyce composed themselves brilliantly. Now striding through is Will Bauer, looking towards that left flank. Oakleigh get it out of harm's way for the time being. See Jackson Lino now with a throw in. It looks like Dandenong City are going to do most of their damage on the break. It's towards Lambadarides, dispossessed, Guest, McGilp. Shaping his body away, and Guest with a rare miscue. It's towards Sesnick, overlapping is Exidius. He takes Exidius with a strike, and Nick Feely is able to palm it down. What a good opportunity for Dandenong City. They have to capitalise on the very few mistakes that Joe Guest, or anyone within this Oakleigh Cannons 11, does make.
Yeah, it was a good shot that by Exidius. And followed in the footsteps of his father, George. Good little player he's become. George playing for Altona East back in the day. And he's in trouble again, is John Hall. He's really almost making a bit of a meal of these clearances, and you don't want to get caught out and get punished. And he was lucky the first time. Really doesn't want to give any balls away to someone for yet another chance, because I think the next time it will be in the back of a net. Deep ball. Adus. And the throw-in given to City. So far, doing well against the Cannons. And a brilliant stuff there by Adus. Corner goal, and chance now for the first corner of the game. And a chance for the Cannons to try and chisel their way through here. What's been overall a pretty solid defence. Webster, ex-Bentley Greens player, really holding tall there. Ball in the box, and a good save there by John Hall. Big frame tapping over the bar, and that's a good effort there, Neil.
Yeah, John Hall, maybe with his feet hasn't been the greatest this afternoon, but as I did mention, his reaction speed is nothing short of tremendous, and we'll see former Curzon Ashton man Joe Guest with the ball into the middle. It's away by Lino briefly. Danger not yet cleared. Here is Kingsley Sinclair towards the right channel. It's picked off by Timothy Atharinos, and Kingsley Sinclair is a very interesting case, the Kiwi, of course, New Zealand Youth International, and did play a lot of his football within the lower tiers in Germany and also in New Zealand as well. Arrived at the club last season, originally as a winger, and due to, I guess, injury concerns and the likes, he's been converted into a left fullback, and, well, in place of Connor Hampson, who was away, he really performed so well in that position. In fact, that is his spot for the remainder of the campaign, it seems. And honestly, if you were to assess him on his ball-playing ability and how he weaves and moves as a left fullback, you wouldn't have guessed that he was an attacker to start off with. And he actually got his just reward last week with the goal himself, so... Of course, Oakleigh, the only side that has defeated Heidelberg United this season. I guess prior to Saturday, they were the only side that did that. Of course, with the Green Gully defeating them on Saturday afternoon, but it was a complete 3-0 drubbing at home. It was quite a sight to see, and Oakleigh, I guess after a pretty poor start to the campaign by their estimates, they've really started to click back into gear and are undefeated in their last several fixtures as the ball is whipped in towards a back stick and it's high and over the bar. But I guess, Arthur, I do want to bring up the point. You can't really separate the top four sides in the competition. It's very hard to. I mean, Oakleigh, South, Avondale. You could argue that all three on their day could beat each other. And even Heidelberg, should I say.
Look, I think Heidelberg is definitely one of the teams to beat. And like you said, the top four is there for a reason. They've all played some good football and have been consistent in doing that all season. But I have no doubt in my mind that top four will basically stay the way it is. And one of those teams will definitely win the league. I can't see anyone lower. Chance here. Cleared away. Yes, to safety by Dandenong. Yeah, I can't see any of the other teams really finding a way through those teams. I mean, Avondale's played some brilliant football, and South Melbourne's been very solid. And I think, need I say that Heidelberg and Oakleigh have played probably the best sort of looking football, as in from an eye point of view. Very attacking and very easy on the eye. So I'm excited actually to see what's going to happen come finals time.
Oakleigh really trying to batter down the hatches of the Dandenong City defence. Trying to really exploit weaknesses and frailties, but with, I guess, the resolute players, the likes of Danny Kim and George Lanabatarides, the ex-Brisbane Roar players, of course, it'd be very hard to do so. And Danny Kim, I must say, a very underrated player in terms of his ball-playing ability. Probably hasn't had the best few years in terms of his, I guess, club selection per se, but has seemingly found a home at Dandenong City, at least for the time being. Here is Cam McGilp. Royce. Wellsmore driving inside. McGilp. Nearly a poor giveaway towards Kubalay. Well, that midfield trio, Kubalay, McGilp and Guest, the names on the lips of every spectator of Victorian football as to one of the best midfield combos in the league. And the thing about that combo is that you've basically seen it for the better part of 2 seasons now, week in, week out, which is a rarity. Salmon towards the left flank. Ada's dropping central. Ball whipped into the centre. It's Joe Guest back to goal. Might find space for Valentini, but the pass is picked off. Here's Bauer. Looking to weave past Emily Wellsmore. The 223s going at it. I'm sure Michael Jordan would be proud with the representation of that number across the league, as we do see Connor Hampson now. Was actually deployed as a centre-back for the first few games of last season, but then seemingly found his groove at left full-back. Seemingly scored just about every header last season. He's an absolute dynamite on set pieces. Ball whipped into the middle, and it's John Hall who can claim. He's going to let one fall all the way towards that left flank. It's kept in by Bauer, isolated with Cam McGilp. He'll win the throw-in. In fact, he won't, and it'll be Oakleigh Cannon's possession. Of course, with Dandenong City, I do want to highlight, of course, Thomas Giannakopoulos, the 19-year-old who's moved into a central defensive midfield position after playing the most of his campaign at centre-back, out for recent weeks due to injury, but at the age of 19, he's got so much poise on the ball. And Arthur, I think he's really a player that's destined likely for bigger and better things. Well, not necessarily better, but bigger things.
It's amazing when someone gets a chance what kind of luxuries they can give to their coach. Ability to burn. Says Nick. Does well. Into the box. And the header! And it's in! 1-0! Sesnik's cross. And it looks like it's George Lanabatarides has scored. Lanabatarides up and beats Fearley to make it 1-0. And that good work by Sesnik, absolutely brilliant there. I'd have to say, you know, that's what you want to see. The ball was sprayed wide and quick work by Sesnik, and what a great goal there.
George Lanabatarides, now in his early 30s. 5 goals for the campaign, 2 in 2 weeks. It's a career renaissance for him. Finally fulfilling his potential for Dandenong City this season. He did it last campaign, but has proven himself to be a top quality midfielder in this competition. He can do it from outside the box, inside the box, head, whatever it may be. And such an enormous goal scoring threat for them this campaign. In fact, is their top goal scorer on the park at the moment, which is crazy to consider that he's a deep lying midfielder at times. So kudos to him. And against the run of play, the Oakleigh Cannons have been absolutely stunned, and it really provides Hodog with a bit of a spring in their step going forward, as we see McGilp driving forward. And I'm sure Avondale are licking their lips at the moment with the knowledge that they might continue to be in second place following the conclusion of this round. So this is Jackson Leno driving into midfield. Here's Leno. Ball whipped into the centre, and Hampson has to clear it over the top. Into the portables on that far side. And it will be a corner. Lambertarides, of course, the ex-Green Gully and Bentley Greens man, of course, NPL Victoria Championship winner. And the Nick Tolios as the ball is whipped in towards Kim, and a great save from Feely. It's a bumble home. Goalmouth scramble. How has it not found its way in the back of the net? It's still near but on the line. Absolute pandemonium, and Atherinos will let fly. And it looks like Stefan Valentini is in a bit of pain, and my goodness, it was just like watching pinball. Could have been at least 10 bodies trying to kick the ball. I've never seen anything like that.
What a save that was from Fairley, really, in the end, along with the other blocks from the defenders. And I'd have to say, at the moment, Dandenong City look the goods. Unlucky not to be 2-0 up. Cannons now. Good work there on that far side, and easy pickings there for Hall. He's a big boy. Sidas. Good work from him. Lambertarides. McGlip. Guest. Referees allowed play on. Yanakopoulos trying to establish some flow in his play there. Not a good clearance by Webster. Skidias. Good football at the moment by City. Great ball across. Fantastic ball by Lambertarides. Chance again. Call cut back and cleared away for a corner, causing a lot of problems here for the Cannons.
And again, George Lambertarides. He broke into this side when he was a teenager, at the age of 18, 19, referring to the Oakleigh Cannons, and then moved across to Club Bruges. Who would have thought about 15 years later he'd be back at the Oakleigh Cannons causing them trouble? It's crazy how football can change the trajectory of careers. This ball whipped into the centre now, and Feely can claim. What a dramatic change in tempo and intent from Nick Tolios' side. Absolutely flicked on the switch. That's a very careless giveaway from Nick Feely. Well, if you're now tuning in the 26th minute, it's certainly been quite an entertaining first half. Had a goalmouth scramble in the last few minutes, and a great crowd in attendance as well on this King's birthday fixture. Jack Edwards reserve. Kubalay with a flick on Exidius, and Jordan Lambertarides is going to be onside here. So they look to fashion one in towards the back post, but still kept in play by Will Bauer. Short towards Atherinos. Yanakopoulos is asking for it within the mixer. It's Atherinos. And there's an offside flag raised eventually. Of course, George Lankrides, our head referee for today, hasn't had much to do per se, but I'm sure he would have been entertained by the various exploits of both sides as Stefan Brisevic sends it out of play. Here is Wellsmore. Towards Kubalay. Wellsmore fashions one into the middle. Again, well defended by Dandenong City, but this resolute and sharp midfield will easily win back possession. Towards Kingsley Sinclair. Cutting onto his right. It's John Hall, a miscue. Might it fall for Joe Guest? It doesn't. Was very misdirected in terms of his footing and sent it high over the bar. But the Cannons are continuing to pepper John Hall's goal and trying to force mistakes by every way they possibly can, Arthur.
It's been a bit shaky, no doubt. Very shaky at the moment. And very unlucky for the Cannons not to score there. Guess skying that try there. And like I said before, you can't be giving chances like that away, and that's been the second time he's gotten away with it all. And I'm almost certain it won't happen a third. Long way to go, no doubt, but tell you what, Yanakopoulos, Lambertarides, Xithis, and Sesnik are really doing well. They're really combining well. Sesnik, former Port Melbourne player. Ball into the box. There's 3-on-1 there. The chances of Adus getting to the ball are very thin, and a chance now. Almost through there was Sesnik. Guest. Adus got a bit of pace on him with Webster holding him away. Ball into the box and no one really there. Wellsmore. Salmon. Need to start using their wings a little more here. Sinclair can get there. Deep cross the header. And Adus over the bar, and I mean that's what we want to see, a little bit more fluent football from the Cannons. Not Neil, it's what we know best from them.
Exercise patience and I think find Munib in space whenever you possibly can. He's got such amazing technical qualities to swivel and weave past defenders. A real diamond in the rough by virtue of an off-season signing. Of course, was signed from the Bentley Greens last season, following a stint at the Newcastle Jets, where he made just a one A-League appearance, but of course, a player with immense technical acumen. At 21, I'm sure he's destined for larger things, if not next year in the national second tier. And might I just focus on Dandenong City? Without Kenny Athieu, they don't really have an out-and-out number 9. So I guess the fact that they've actually scored from that central area, it really speaks to the tactical flexibility that Nick Telios has had to enforce within his side. Of course, Kenny Athieu very much in and out of the team this year with injury struggles and the likes, as Valentini plays it towards Kubalay. And no one in pursuit is Stefan Bresovic. The looping ball forward, and Farinos back to goal. Boyce was in the way. Here's McGill towards Minibatis, but he can't get his foot under it. He'll be out for a Dandenong City throw-in. Here's Exidius. Atharinos has to rise high to receiving board. It's a complete miscue. Very nice crowd building here at Jacko Woods. Maybe it's just a feel of just the one grandstand in use and only the hill and the social club able to be accessed, but it does provide that boutique feel to this ground, which is one of the best within the city. Absolutely. See Jackson Lino get it clear. Short towards Valentini, just weaving on the perimeter of the penalty area. Fashion into the middle once more. Adis picks up on the byline. Short towards Sinclair. Adis forced wide. The Cannons looking to reset. McGilp driving into space. Salmon. Left to right now. Wellsmore with a delivery. Calls for a handball. Might it find Guest? It doesn't. And again, Dandenong City able to clear their lines for a brief moment. Here is Sinclair. Asking for options. Guest. Hampson. First time ball. Valentini rising highest, but it was a bit of a specky, according to the referee, as he nudged himself into Giacolino's back a bit too much, and I think gets a yellow card for back chat. And he's one of those players, Stefan Valentini. A bit too lippy at times.
No doubt. We saw a few months back him doing the same and copping just reward for his talking back. Chris Taylor won't stand for that. And he won't stand for that either because the ball's gone out. Cannons trying to measure their way back into this game. At the moment it's 1-0, and really Dandenong City's looked the more dangerous at the moment in goal, in front of goal. I mean, Oakleigh has had a couple of chances which were gifted to them by some questionable goalkeeping, but the score remains 1-0 to the away side. Tolios has got his troops going forward again. Chance now. The shot! Oh my Lord! Timothy Aperinos has scored a scorcher! What a tremendous strike, Neil!
Put the trademark on it. Timothy Atherinos, growing a reputation for scoring outside of the box belters. It might be just a competition between him and Amir Abdallah for who scores the most outrageous goals of the campaign. Atherinos knows he can pop them from range. He has the intuition, the acumen, the ability. And what a way to do it. Timothy Atherinos, fastly and quickly growing a reputation for being one of the better young players in this competition. And with this fourth of the campaign, that might be the sweetest of them all. He did it in round one against Avondale. He did it last week. And he pops up once again. Possibly for what would be, I guess, as things currently stand, Dandenong City's biggest scalp this campaign, if things do continue along this very trail. But well, for a rare time this season, the Oakleigh Cannons will likely go into the break 1 or 2 goals down. In fact, they've scored first in their last 5 matches. This being the first game in which that very occurrence has not happened, and a huge miscue from Brodie Boyce. As the ball is going to bounce high, Will Bauer retrieving first. But I'm not sure if those in attendance quite can't believe what they're witnessing. As Oakleigh, of course, who have retained the buck of possession, and I think that's being very, maybe underselling them. In fact, they've held the majority of possession. And Dandenong City have taken their chances when it has absolutely mattered. Here is McGill. Oakleigh certainly do have the players required to bring them back within this contest. We've seen plenty of late night Jack Edwards reserve comebacks, but it is 3:30 p.m. on a Monday and not 9 p.m. on a Friday. So might these conditions not fall in favour for the Oakleigh Cannons? And you've got to give credit to Atherinos, who, of course, broke through as a youngster, teenager at Nunawading. 7 goals in 20 games as a senior player with Nunawading. And to come from NPL 3 to NPL 1, not just as an academy player, but also as a senior player, and deliver on this stage, it's a huge credit to him. Zidius racing down that right touch line. Both are dispossessed. Flag is called for offside. So we'll see Connor Hampson now. In fact, we will see Kingsley Sinclair. Towards Brodie Boyce. The Queenslander, of course, nominated for the NPL Queensland Young Player of the Year several seasons ago. Towards Guest, he's forced wide. Got options open in the middle. Valentini stepping away, and is awarded the free kick. And this might be an opportunity, a distinct one at that, for Joe Guest to let one fly from long range. We know he can do that at this very ground, and there's ever a time to do so, it would certainly be now. He already has 8 for the campaign, and he's really aging like fine wine. And judging by the look of it, I think he might have a pop. The wall is set. And here is Joe Guest on his left foot, shaped in towards a back post, but another poor method of execution for the Oakleigh Cannons, Arthur.
Really, I thought he would go for it there. I mean, there's a chance there for shot on goal, but he went for the back post ball, and obviously his fellow teammates didn't read his mind, and they have been a lot more susceptible to doing that in the past. They come forward again. The Cannons really need a goal here before half-time to get back into this tussle. Certainly not over. Not a team that Chris Taylor coaches. But they need to try and cause some problems here. They're not really troubling the goalkeeper at the moment. Chance now. Hampson switches play. Boyce. And I'm just trying to think, Neil, I'm wondering if that loss of Iliopoulos might be bigger than what we first thought. He's been an absolute stalwart there for the Cannons. And now again, they go forward. And that man again, Timothy Atherinos. And good tackle there. Clean tackle. And the referee's allowed play to go, and he rightly so. Excellent refereeing there. Can the Cannons get forward, and the referee's allowed play on, and rightly so. Can they get the ball into the box? Because really congested defence there. Webster. Deuce ball swerved in. Well taken this time by Hall, and that's more like it. Solid goalkeeping, Neil, and that will go a long way to keeping a clean sheet for the City.
Yeah, I mean, Hajduk under John Hall today, it's really been a tale of two quarters, should we say, within this contest. First segment of this half, John Hall was really struggling to, I guess, latch onto those balls, and maybe his decision-making wasn't quite the best. But why I refer to quarters, because 20-minute periods, intervals per we say. But that's where his Olyroos experience really comes into it. Goalkeeping at the highest level. 3 caps for the Olyroos, of course, in the early 2010s. Guest fashioned into the mix and misses everyone, but the Cannons will still retrieve, this time through Emmeline Wellsmore. Shaped in towards the box once more. Bali Sesnick ensures it finds the feet of Kingsley Sinclair. It's Kubele, ex-Gotspur man, playing his trade in Turkey. He's been a stalwart for this side for a few seasons now. A great first-time pass from Will Bauer, and Atherinos has got 2 to part with, and he does so. But Brodie Boyce with excellent body positioning to get in front of the ball. But Timothy Atherinos is causing them an absolute nightmare in defence. As we reach the 45-minute mark. Certainly presents a very intriguing storyline for the Oakleigh Cannons, who, well, their only loss this season came against Avondale, at home, ironically, as well. You don't win at Jack Edwards. That is generally the method employed by several coaches in this competition, is to really just escape Jack Edwards without conceding too many. But the fact that Oakleigh have already lost once at home this season and potentially could lose a second time is certainly very intriguing, and certainly bucks a trend. Wellsmore. 2 minutes of added time in this first half. As Kube looks to fashion one in. It's towards Adis. Cannon still retain possession, this time through Brodie Boyce. And now Connor Hampson. Shaping away slightly. Sinclair, first time touch towards Valentini, who switched wings with Adis. And Valentini will stride towards a byline. A good save from John Hall. It's kept alive briefly. But now it's towards Guest. His pass finds Connor Hampson, who completely makes a meal of it. And has sent that just about into the trees.
It's killed a koala. Yeah, it was a little wayward, wasn't it? And very impressive crowd, and it's built up even more since we started the game. Toppled with some good Greek food there, the souvlakis, which was quite tantalising early on. Chance now for the Cannons. Salmon. Chance for McGlip, and goal kick, and now the referee looking at his watch. It's just about half time here, and Dandenong City are 2 goals to the good. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Lambertarides and Atherinos have scored the goals for Dandenong City. Webster mops up, does very well. And that's all here at half-time. Neil, an absolutely exceptional half by Dandenong City.
Talk about taking your chances. They certainly have done so, and probably were a bit unlucky to not have three. I mean, Oakleigh should have one themselves following that enormous mistake by John Hall in the first 10 minutes or so. But despite City's absentees, Kenny Athiu, Kurt Kwaku, and Damien Iconis, they have somehow got themselves into a fantastic position at the end of this first half. 2-0 to the away side. We'll be back with you within the second half in about 15 minutes or so.
It is important that all spectators on a football Victoria FV fixture are able to enjoy the match in a safe and comfortable environment. Accordingly, each person present at the FV fixture must A. Respect the decisions of the match officials. B. Respect the rights to remove any relief of every person regardless of their race, colour, religion, language, politics, national or ethnic origin. C. Not engage in use or violence in any form, whether it is by other spectators, team officials, or coaches of their players. D. Not to engage in discrimination, harassment, or abuse of any form, whether lawful or otherwise, in the body is not limited to the use of boxes or anti-value measures. Incitement of hatred or violence or partaking in indecent or racist activity. E. Compliance with these conditions of entry are all being implemented conditions. F. Not to carry out the camouflage or missiles, including those of authority, or unrespected. G. Not to enter the field by politics ceremonies without local authority. And H. Conduct themselves in a manner that enhances driving the implementation and federation of FA, Football Federation Australia, FFA, and Football Junior. Any player from the record this period or regions in the opinion of the club and or FD causes resident likely to cause disturbance, may be evicted in venue and banned from the field, future matches held on the club or FD. Any offender who engages the ban ordered against them may be charged with trespass, subject to further penalties and sanctions, including the possibility of further legal action.
Welcome back to round 17 of the NPL Victoria Men's King's Birthday Football. Oakleigh against Dandenong City. A fantastic first half for Hajduk against the run of play. Have scored 2 incredible goals. The pick of the bunch being from Timothy Atharinos with an absolutely amazing perler right into the top left corner where the Spiders live. For Oakleigh, a lot of soul searching in that first half. Chris Taylor with no changes at the interval. It looks like neither for Nick Tolios, and will be underway right now through Alex Salmon. Could he be the potential fire starter for the home side? As Jack Edwards reserve, we have kickoff. Boyce searching ball to that left flank. McGilp, neat turn. Here is Connor Hampson. Wellsmore. Munib Adis. 2 in tow. It's Wellsmore now. Shifting away from Bauer. Kubele still holds out possession. Now with Munib Adis. Back towards Emlyn Wellsmore. Brody Boyce. Here's Connor Hampson. Striding forward. 1-2 with Valentini. Slightly overhit for Hampson, who has to come and retrieve. You wouldn't believe that he's a centre half based on his positioning this afternoon. As the ball whipped into the centre. It's Adis with a deft touch. And he'll go out of play for a goal kick. Arthur Akratides, your thoughts on that first half? What does Chris Taylor and his side need to do?
What he does need to do is basically tell his team that, look, we've got a 2-goal deficit to try and slowly chip away at, and I think they just need to basically play their normal game of football, which they normally do down here, and ultimately they haven't been allowed to play as fluently as they normally do, and there's no doubt in my mind the intention. They've come out and really tried to make an opening here, but they haven't been allowed to play the way they like, and Lino there has done really well to get the ball down the line. I've no doubt in my mind there will come a time where the Cannons will find a way through, because they're just too good a side. And but I must say I'm very impressed with Nick Tolios's young team and the way they've asserted themselves. They've really played well, made it very hard for the home side, and it rarely happens here at Jack Edwards Reserve. Chance now, ball cleared away for a corner, and a chance now for the home side to try and chisel their way forward. And a bit of an injury there, Neil. I think, as I said, I'm very impressed with the youngsters.
Yeah, you do speak of the young players that Dandenong City do have. Yanakopoulos, only 19. The likes of Jackson Lino in his early 20s. Ball whipped into the middle. It's with Valentini. Ball still alive for Salmon. And did it hit the arm of Atharinos? It didn't, according to the referee. There's a number of fairly young players within the squad. Will Bauer is in his early 20s. I guess Danny Kim's more mature with his experience with the Joeys and also the Brisbane Roar. But it's a nice little mix. Locally, you've got a real changing of the guard. I think with the departure of Tom Matthews in recent seasons, it's not really a case of replacing players. I mean, their squad turnover has not been massive. I mean, Aaron Williams came in a few years back from memory. Obviously, Joe Knowles, part of the club. But what they've done is they've always replaced attacking quality with even more attacking quality. I mean, look across the squad. You've got the likes of Pierce Waring, who they brought in pre-season from Green Gully. Asad Kasimovic coming across from Adelaide United. It's just an absolute wealth of attacking quality that they do possess, and you do have to wonder why this afternoon they haven't really been able to combine. But as for Dandenong City, it's a complete contrast of attacking talent. More so players that have been brought from the NPLs as opposed to A-League talent, which is what Oakleigh mainly do possess. With Pierce Waring, Adis, Kasimovic, all playing at an A-League level at one point in time. Valentini as well. Well, more so in the Cup for the Brisbane Roar, for Perth Glory, should I say. As we do see Jack Webster in a bit of a injury strife here. Of course, the centre-back having a real rejuvenated season in his early 30s, of course. Former Bentley Greens championship winner under Johnny A. And also with Nick Telios in that 2019 season. This is not good news for Dandenong City, who may have a very, very big injury concern here with Jack Webster, who's still receiving treatment. It's probably been about 2 or 3 minutes that he's been on the ground for. He's back up and walking, which is a positive sign. But it looks like Hajduk will have to play without a man for a few moments. He's taken off his boot, so not entirely sure what that might mean. Could it be maybe an ankle issue? Who knows? But well, it looks like he'll come back on, which is, I guess, a positive sign for Hajduk fans in attendance. As John Hall gets it clear and long. Atharinos with a backwards header. Here's Vali Sesnik. One of the best dribblers in the competition, without a shadow of a doubt. Former SC Canberra under-21s player. Kim Lambaridis shifted across towards Sesnik. Long ball forward. Is Bauer on side? Doesn't look like he will be. And Oakleigh Cannons will retain possession with Brody Boyce now. Here's Wellsmore, also a Brisbane Roar Academy product. Spent time with the Port Melbourne Sharks up until 2023 when he joined this Oakleigh Cannons side, in which he was mainly a bench player, but has quickly grown into becoming one of the best fullbacks in the competition. One of those players that can really just stride forward and score amazing goals when moments do count. Did that against Hume City earlier this season. Adis. It's Bresovic. And it'll be Hajduk's ball in the heart of their defence.
Nice solid defending there by Bresovic. The Hall ready to take the kick. Time ticking away here. Chance to try and consolidate their 2-0 lead here. Corner ball, and really if they could get another one here, the Dandenong City bench will be more than happy with that. Deep ball. And the header's way beyond, who was that there? Giannakopoulos. Chance now for Feely to try and play the ball long. Webster's really been solid in the back there for Dandenong City. Just sense that there's something brewing here, Neil.
Yeah, it just feels like the moment before an explosion. You just this eerie feeling that goals will come in this second half. We don't know where the direct source will be, but certainly that aura here at Jack Edwards Reserve. With Oakleigh, of course, as was mentioned previously, this is their first of 3 games in 8 days. They do face off against Dandenong Thunder this Saturday, and then against Avondale in the Cup at the home of the Matildas. With the winner booking their place in the Australia Cup round of 32. Adis leaving a defender for dead and looking to strike. It's McGilp, and it's Adis again, and they're really just clutching at glass straws at this point. I mean, I guess the opportunities from long range, not remotely finding anyone in pursuit. Not finding either corner as Kubele finds Wellsmore more narrow in his positioning. It's with Alex Salmon. Here is Joe Guest. Sumptuous ball to that far side. Kingsley Sinclair stepping away. It's a good delivery. It's Will Bauer. And clears it high. McGilp. And Oakleigh do have coverage in the form of Cam McGilp. And Alex Salmon wins a corner. One of the most deadly goal scorers in the NPL Victoria over the last 5 seasons. Of course, arrived from Green Gully last campaign, turning 30 next month. Having one of his best goal scoring seasons yet as John Hall punches it away from the corner. Here is McGilp. We'll have a second bite of the cherry in the form of a throw-in. And Salmon will be judged to be onside from the throw-in. McGilp towards Brody Boyce. Oakleigh playing at such a high line. And they'll look to reconvene in possession with Brody Boyce and now Connor Hampson. Sinclair. Valentini dropping deep to receive. Still wins out possession. It's Valentini still going. John Hall getting down to his right. And, well, he'd be quite happy with his performance so far, you'd say, after that very intriguing first half.
Yeah, he's been a lot more solid. No doubt you're going to have to be wary of those kind of strikes because they're more than capable, the Cannons, of shooting from distance. Kubele. Wellsmore. Well won there. Playing forward. Chance to push forward was Boyce. And a chance now. And it's across the face of goal. Yeah, gone begging there for the Cannons. And in the end, it'll be, looks like a throw-in. McClip. Trying to find a way through. Trying to shift the defence from left to right. But City are really doing well, holding them up. Tussling away there was Cesnik. All the way back to Oakleigh. Wellsmore. Back to McGlip. Guest. Searching ball there for Valentini. And some good work getting out of the back there. Chance now for Sesnick. He's gone wide. Trying to find Yanakopoulos, but in the end, the Cannons come forward. Deep ball, Webster. Salmon and Webster. Cleared away. The ball going from one end of the ground to the other. Cleared all the way to the keeper. Referee allows play on, even though there was a foul there on McGlib. The throw into Dandenong City, and we've been playing just on 15 minutes in this second half, and the Cannons have really found it hard to break away into that last half there, Neil.
Just banks of 4 out of possession. They've been defending very flat and deep as well, and that's benefited Talios' side. And they're a side that traditionally doesn't have the greatest record from defensive positions, but I mean this season they've proven in the last few games that they can in fact be resolute in those positions, especially last week with a clean sheet against St Albans, as a goal kick is now called. Certainly do have one of the best defences in the competition. The most experienced players, should we say, and it's a really good mix of youth and experience with Stefan Bresovic as well, the former Bentley and Bulleen man, as Will Bauer looks to find Lambertarides on the right edge of the area. In fact, this is potentially their third straight clean sheet. Valentini striding forward, and he's hacked down. Gets straight back up to his feet, and an important opportunity for the Oakleigh Cannons to strike. You'd say about 30 yards out. Looks like Danny Kim's not too happy from how far Joe Guest will look to pop one from range here. Well, he had a similar opportunity from a similar position in that first half. But could it be second time lucky for Joe Guest? Right into the wall. Yanakopoulos rising highest and batting it away. It's Sinclair. The first time lofted ball into the middle. And John Hall can claim. And Bauer's upended by Sinclair. And, well, Dandenong City, I mean, the onus is really on them to absorb as much time and space as they possibly can. And they know that they will find openings one way or another, at least one or two, but it's about taking their chances. And they'll have plenty of firepower off the bench to match. Wasted free kick, though, from Jack Webster, however. Here's Connor Hampson. Back towards Nick Feely, the former Perth Glory goalkeeper. Oh, and a poor giveaway from Brodie Boyce nearly, but got back up to his feet and very well, in fact. And Yanakopoulos with the timely interception, and great work from Oliver Kuberle, and a near handball given against Kingsley Sinclair. And well, it looks like the Oakleigh Cannons are going to make their first change, and Masad Kasumovic will be the player in question. Formerly of Adelaide City, where he had a really good goal-scoring run a few seasons ago. Then got to move to Adelaide United's Youth Academy, where he made several appearances in the last couple of A-League seasons. And it looks like the player coming off will be Munibatis. Also had a trial in Finland at the very same club of Harrison Sawyer and VPS, but obviously was not signed there. And after spending basically all of the season on the bench, he popped up with 2 huge goals about a month ago at home against St. Albans, which has really kick-started his campaign in the blue of the Cannons. Wellsmore drifting away, looking down the line towards Kasimovic. Boyce. Kim. Lambertarides, good first touch. Sesnick. Now the Cannons with an extra spring in their step with Kingsley Sinclair driving wide. Incisive ball towards Guest. And it's towards Valentini. Going to get across the way. He can. And again, John Hall is there to get out of harm's way. But it's still alive for the Cannons, this time through Joe Guest. Neat ball towards Sinclair. It's Kubele shifting away. Wellsmore, he can strike from this sort of angle. But a great loud roar from the travelling Hajduk fans, and that has found its way quite literally into the tree. It's still stuck there.
And that really won't be coming down in a hurry. It's wedged into those trees, that shot. And really should have done better with that. The Cannons really need to try and find some avenue to goal. Not being allowed to play fluently. And at the moment, Dandenong City, Nick Tolios's boys are looking very much the team to beat, really. It looks like a card might come out here. Not too sure the referee's called over Valentini, but he's not going to dish a card out. And that's fair enough. And he has had a great game, has Webster. And good work there by Lino. Jackson Lino been solid as well. He's got some real aggression there in his tackle. The Glip trying to find a way through. He can't do so. Good work there by Atherinos. Gets the throw. And a long throw at that. Chance to push away. Lino. Watching the ball there was Kim. Should have done better. Ball switched to Atherinos. Still lets it go out for a goal kick. Just no urgency at the moment, I think, in Oakleigh's play, Neil. I just think they really should try and throw the cat amongst the pigeons. There's plenty of time, no doubt, for a result here for the Cannons, a positive result for that matter, but they're not being allowed to play their normal game, so they need to change things up.
Yeah, I guess you do speak to the players that they do have on the bench. They don't have too many more sort of attacking players by virtue of quality, but I mean they do have some youngsters that have come through their 23s that I do want to highlight in Luke Mensink and also Roy Gregory, both of which 18 and 19 respectively. who've scored six goals apiece in the 23s competition this season. So I think, look, if Chris Taylor wants to look to his bench and give some youngsters a go, which is something that he hasn't really been known for in, I guess, recent seasons. Who knows? Leno with a long throw. It's found its way all the way through to Nick Thiele somehow. Might force a counter-attack here through Stefan Valentini. You can see players striding forward and with much pace and intent. Valentini drifting to the left flank and wins himself a throw-in. Again, maybe drifting into more central channels would benefit them. But Hajduk have really cut off all the angles. Guest towards Kubalay. Salmon dropping deep. It's towards Hampson. Stepping in was Stefan Brezovic with a heavy first touch and looked to play on his header and stride forward himself, but has been forced to track back and does his defensive duties and executes them to full effect. Lambertaridis with the misplaced pass, and here is Joe Guest sliding it towards Kingsley Sinclair. Sumptuous ball over the top, rolled short towards McGilp, asking plenty of his fellow teammates. A heavy touch from Valentini, and Exidius is going to let it down the line. Here's McGilp. It's Sinclair back towards McGilp. Brezovic stepping high once more. Dandenong City, you can see, going to make a change of their own. As Leno cuts off the pass. Oh, that's very poor from Oliver Kubalay. Incredibly needless. And Kasumovic and Brezovic going at it. It's an all-out brawl here at Jack Edwards Reserve. And there are some decisions to be made here. Oli Kubalay, following the foul on Jackson Leno, stepped in with his knee and has caused an absolute moment of mayhem. I think that's a yellow card towards Danny Kim. And I suspect this might not be the last card that's handed out. And Jackson Leno is in some way it looks like a discussion has been had with the assistant referee on this near side. And Joe Guest is having a discussion as well. I think that might be the only call that is made. Oh, what do you think about that?
I'll tell you what, I thought we'd see a red somewhere there, but I suppose credit to the referee who decided that they were both as bad as each other, and luckily there for both sides that there wasn't a card. But I can't seem to see what the scuffle was about. Originally it was it looked like Kubalay getting a yellow card on the challenge on Leno, and then after that it was take a pick. Ball cleared now, and might be wise to try and... It looked like I think it was Danny Kim that got the yellow card for Dandenong City. It might be a good idea for maybe Nick Tolios to maybe take him off. They don't want to lose a player here. now that they're 2-0 up and they're really making it hard for Oakleigh Cannons. You don't want to be losing a player at such an important time of the game, because at the moment the Cannons are staring down the barrel of their second loss for the season. But as we've said before, it's not over till the fat lady sings, and at the moment 15 minutes left on the clock of normal time, and more than enough time. And lo and behold, number 11, which is Brady Quinn, is coming on the ground for Will Bower. And looks like Sesnick off and Jacob Alexander on. And no doubt in my mind that defensive transition for Dandy City. And the free kick given there. Neil, it's all or nothing now for the Cannons.
Absolutely, and what a player to bring on, Jacob Alexander. I mean, now obviously in his early 30s, been injured for a lot of the campaign and only came back in just the last few weeks. So I think as for Dandy City, with the addition of Brady Quinn, he's had a very good campaign, mainly as a bench player. Certainly the type of players you want to bring on for that experience and composure. The former Springvale White Eagle, Brady Quinn, and also at Melbourne Victory had a great campaign last year for Dandenong City. It must be added 5 goals in 25 games in the VPL1 or NPL2, whatever you want to call it. But a limited amount of time for the Cannons to strike potentially as Kubele upends Jackson Leno. Here's Connor Hampson, flicked across by Alexander. It's Wellsmore, space for Hajduk. Poor ball directed towards Brady Quinn, and see Kingsley Sinclair went out for the home side, who's been quite solid at left fullback today. Fantastic looping ball over the top from Connor Hampson, and Valentini, who struggles to get the first touch he would have liked, gives it away. Win back possession. And towards Valentini, back to goal, looks to weave past Exidius, and Atherinos is back to goal, but big Brody Boyce was in the way. Valentini will be judged offside in this specific instance. Haven't seen too many balls go into the construction side on the far side. As you mentioned, that $14 million upgrade, which was conducted a few weeks ago. A fantastic project. Oakleigh have obviously contributed a lot to the vitality and liveliness of this competition in recent seasons, and the fact that they get a facility that reflects their contributions is fantastic, as we do see Nick Feely pick up once more for the Oakleigh Cannons. Here's Nick Feely. Kasunovic will rise high, but Guest wins out. Laterally finds McGilp. Attempts to flick it over the top. And Stefan Bresovic, I think for the second time this afternoon, has sent it on the top of the grandstand into a loud thud.
Absolutely a loud thud, and time ticking away, and no doubt in my mind that Jacob Alexander has come in, and he's almost like the hit man at the moment. He's not allowing anything to go through him, and that's keeping it very, very tight for the Cannons. Making it very tight, should I say. Free kick given there. Timothy Aviadinos called upon there. I don't think a card came out, but free kick given. Time ticking away here. Around 10 minutes or so left on the clock of normal time. Deep ball in the box. And Lino up against the fence. Pushed aside. Good work there. And the referee has allowed play on. And in the end, it's probably a fair call. Deep ball played. Throw in on the far side of the ground. A little more desperation now for the Cannons. And a free kick given to Dandenong City. What seems to be a really, really effective way. They're holding the ball up as much as they can, and they're trying to get the Cannons to go up to them, and it's been successful. They're really awaiting Cannons to try and attack them and try and get them on the break, and the header straight into the arms of Fearley, and he's gone long. And really desperate times now, Neil, for the Cannons.
Absolutely. And it's really rare that you do witness moments of desperation from the Oakleigh Cannons of all teams. Even last season in the semi-final against South Melbourne, it was a late goal from Marcus Schroen, and they didn't show desperation there. So I guess it's something that Chris Taylor is not really used to with this specific crop of players, but we can see if they can turn the tide. Here's McGill, shouldering challenges and dealing with it quite well. Here's Hampson towards Sinclair. Valentini out wide, fashions a delivery into the near post. Runners are back for Dandenong City, and it's McGilp who's been dispossessed, but did incredibly well to compose himself. And it looks like Brodie Boyce is the only solitary centre-back as Connor Hampson looks to drift out left in possession. There's a long ball over the top, is misplaced. Well, for Dandenong City, this will be potentially an enormous scalp for them on the course of their campaign. As mentioned, they will currently sit in 7th place still, but only 3 points off the Port Melbourne Sharks. That's a poor clearance from Jackson Lino, but fortunately had Giannakopoulos for support. Is there time, maybe, for the Oakleigh Cannons to get 1 or 2? Noah Holmes also on the bench for more midfield solidity if they do require him, and Kutumovic with a good touch. It's McGilp. Here is Connor Hampson. Again, a brilliant ball towards Sinclair. Leaves it short for Hampson with a flicked on delivery. And John Hall comes out to punch. Alexander following suit. And Quinn in the receiving possession. Here is Connor Hampson. Out wide towards Joe Guest. Looks further wide. And Wellsmore, can he fashion a delivery? He can't. And in fact, it came off the foot of Emilyn Wellsmore. To a roaring applause. And Jackson Lino having a career game this afternoon. He has been tremendous. See John Hall, the clearance. Lambadaridis looking to flick it on. Still Hajduk who have possession. To Jackson Lino. Kubalay. McGill. Back towards Kubalay. Lambadaridis looking to step in, but space might open up on this left flank. But it doesn't. And a great piece of football from Dandenong City to track back and find time and space. Here's Kubalay. First touch from Alex Salmon. Chipped in ball from Joe Guess. And it's John Hall who claims.
Long clearance by Hall. And Jacob Alexander has been called up for a foul there. It was a bit probably unlucky. Hampson plays it, gets it back, trying to find an opening. And Dandenong City says, come to us and we'll block you again. Some desperate defending here. Chance now. Shot charge down. Chance to go forward now. Atherinos. He's done well. Plays the ball central. Kim. Ball played wide by Xidas. And all the way back to Webster. He should try and go to the corners, and that's one of the rare balls he's given away today. Will they punish him now? Guest plays it. Charge down into the box, over the top. And in the end, no one there for the Cannons. Another substitution here. And it's Kian Vanderhurst Bryant coming on. A long name, hyphenated name. And that man, the goal scorer, Atherinos, coming off and receiving some great hand of applause from the Dandenong faithful, and he's had a great game and scored one of the goals of the season. Chance now. Cannons go forward. Trying to find a way. Still there. Still there. Claims for a penalty, but the referee allows play on. Into the back post. Headed away. Charge down. Trying to find a shot on goal here. The shot! And gone wide. Goal kick and safety for Dandenong City.
Timothy Atherinos, when he was coming through the youth system at the Oakleigh Cannons as a young man, he would have watched the first grade squad and the success that they had, and would have dreamed to become an Oakleigh Cannons player at one point. Who would have thought when that moment finally came that he would be on the opposite side of the coin and scoring a goal that will be played all around Victoria. Maybe Australia, who knows? And so in the 90th minute, looks like we'll have at least a few minutes of stoppage time. Of course, we had that massive injury stoppage earlier on following the brawl as well. Quinn looks to fashion one in. It's now Exidius. There's still players arriving at the back post. Alexander is Giannakopoulos. Going to feed one through. This is the last-ditch moment for Oakleigh, and it's poorly given away by Kasumovic. And the overlapping run from Lena across the face of goal. Lambatarides nearly, but it's still alive. Alexander stepping in. 7 minutes of added time. That's plenty of time for either side to potentially find a breakthrough in the second half. Here's Kyle Bryant. It's Quinn with the heavy first touch. 7 minutes. Certainly a lot of time. And Dandenong City winning back possession. This is a rare spell for them. As a foul is given. Quinn going to deck. Of course, Kyle Vanderhurst Bryant, formerly of the Sunshine Coast Wanderers, with 4 goals in 22 games in 2023. Player that can get on the ball, especially in wide spaces. Towards Alexander, on the edge of the area. On the agenda for the Oakleigh Cannons, as mentioned, this weekend against the Dandenong Thunder. Of course, the game will be played behind closed doors due to the incident earlier this season in the reverse fixture. Dandenong City, massive match. A Croatian derby against Melbourne Knights, which, considering their respective spots in the table, could be quite telling of where they might end up at the latter points of the campaign. Here's Brody Boyce. Feely.
Dandenong City 2-0 up here. Curling ball, headed away. Chance Wellsmore plays it wide. Ball cleared for another corner. Calls for time, but clearly 3 minutes left on the clock. This would really make it interesting. Good catch by Hall. And he's definitely been better this second half. There's an opening now for Bryant on the far wing, but not given. Valentini, he's done well. He's been reasonably quiet all game. Ball played and played fair and square, says the referee. It's all just about done here. Long clearance and a good clearance by Hall. Alexander gets the throw.
What an afternoon. What an occasion for Dandenong City. Without a shadow of a doubt, it'll be their biggest win of the season. And they've done it in such a professional style and manner. You never really thought as if Oakleigh troubled them at all, which is honestly crazy to think, considering their goal-scoring output and how they can completely destroy teams on the counter. It's one of those potential blips for the Oakleigh Cannons. Well, for Dandenong City, their third win in a row, sign of things to come, potentially, you'd have to say. The Oakleigh Cannons have the third best goal-scoring record in the campaign. Across the league, should I say. In fact, they have the best defensive record in the league, with 11 goals conceded, compared to South's 13. This is a complete outlier from what we've expected from them this season as a whole. And it's a true testament to Dandenong City to come away from home and deliver a special performance for their travelling fans. Here's Bryant waving away past Wellsmore. Alexander Lambertarides is offside. Hajduk fans call for time. Feely towards Kubalay. There's likely not enough time for the Cannons to draw their way back in. And that is a famous win for Dandenong City. Their biggest scalp of the season comes in the form of the Oakleigh Cannons. Timothy Atharinos, George Lambertarides, two former players of the Oakleigh Cannons, come to haunt them at their hallowed turf at Jack Edwards Reserve. What an occasion. Arthur Akratides. King's birthday football produces the goods and produces upsets.
What a great game. Great victory for the away side. Probably one of the better away victories for the season, I'd say. And really making it now interesting for that top six battle, Neil, with Port Melbourne now having Dandenong just sniffing down their throats there. And the chance now for Dandenong City to try and make their way into that top six. They're only 3 points behind. Port Melbourne have the superior goal difference. But a great game, very enjoyable game here. Dandenong City with one of the greatest goals we've seen this season. Thanks to Neil Simons and myself, Arthur Akratides. We will see you next week for some great action with the NPL football show. Thank you.
good, man. No worries.